It's Wild Wednesday on the Fan, presented by Jim Beam. And we want to send you to an upcoming game. Follow us on Facebook, X, or Instagram. Tag KFAN and use the hashtag KFAN Wild Wednesday for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Wild take on the Dallas Stars on November 16th. Head to our socials to enter now.
Thank you, young lady. We do appreciate that. That's Kara Heast Tenneby. I'm Common. The legendary Mark Rosen now joins us here in our 651 Carpets Plus studio.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, too. 50 years ago today, Rumble in the Jungle. Your thoughts?
Interesting. I was watching during my time away.
Oh, you were?
They had Ali Frazier second fight, and then they had the Rumble in the Jungle.
Yeah.
It was 50 years ago. Huh?
50 years ago today.
And was that the Rope-a-Dope?
That was Rope-a-Dope.
Yeah, and it was magnificent to watch again when George Foreman literally punched himself out.
Yeah.
And Ali just stood there, against the ropes, and it was something to behold. It really was, because everybody expected Foreman, I think, to knock out Ali. I think everyone.
Well, I think everyone did. George Foreman was considered invincible.
Force.
He hadn't lost to anybody. He destroyed Kenny Norton.
Right.
He destroyed Joe Frazier. He destroyed anybody he fought
in short order. Yeah.
And he was. For those that don't know, there were really two iterations of George Foreman.
Right.
There was the George Foreman that was the glowering. Mm-hmm. He would just stare. He was mean, nasty, power puncher. Then he retired. And when he came back, he was this gregarious, roly-poly kind of a guy, and he did end up winning the heavyweight championship of the world. He did regain it at age, like 45 or something.
Incredible.
And
he
retired after he fought Jimmy Young, a young up-and-coming Jimmy Young, and he lost to Jimmy Young, and he said he saw God, and that's when he turned to Christ. And he became a preacher.
Yeah.
He has 8 kids, all
named George Foreman, right?
8 males, all named George. And what I did learn, I was reading a piece on it by a boxing writer. I think his name is Thomas Hauser. I think I've read he did an Ali book before. Yeah. He actually, in this story I read the other day about the 50th anniversary, he said he actually sat down. He's actually watched every Ali fight with Ali.
Oh, my.
And he watched the one with Foreman. And I had always been under the impression, this is what legend grows and things change over the years and memories. I was always under the impression that the rope-a-dope strategy was created prior to the fight. As a matter of fact, there's the legend that Angelo Dundee went to the ring before the fight and took out a wrench and loosened up the ropes a little bit so that Ali could lean way back.
Right. Legend has it.
But in this story, allegedly, Ali told Hauser, he said, I created that during the fight. He said the ring was really soft and he wasn't going to be able to dance around and avoid him. So he said he had to come up with a strategy. So he said he came to him on the fly.
I never would have believed that.
Yeah, and so what he did was, because he knew that he couldn't stand totally, and what he was obviously what the strategy was, he absorbed a lot of punches, but most of them were on his arms, his shoulders. A few scored, but enough of them where Big George did punch himself out because he wanted to destroy Ali, and Ali just bided his time. And then if you watch the 8th, you don't have to watch the whole fight. As Brian Oakland said, you don't have to like the fight game, but you have to respect what Ali did in that fight. And just with that cat-quick lightning, he comes out with a flurry and drops Big George Foreman. And George was so tired at that point, he couldn't
stand up.
He couldn't pull himself off the canvas. And it was an upset for the ages.
Strategically, it was one of the most amazing fights, heavyweight fights in history of boxing. Because no one expected, ever after all us were watching Ali during that time, dancing around and doing his thing and his, lightning quick, sting like a butterfly approach. Thought, how's that going to match up with Styles against the powerhouse that George Foreman was? And as it turns out, I had no idea that he made it up.
That's what the story said.
It wasn't like Angelo Dundee and Ali had this.
No. If you
epiphany
believe,
and wanted to,
I think everybody thought that. That was the impression I was under.
Sure,
because I'd heard the legendary story. Maybe it was just legend; it wasn't real. That Angie loosened the ropes before the fight, so that Ali could lean way back on the ropes.
After watching that second fight, what struck me was not so much the outcome. Obviously, Ali came back and won that second fight, but the number of people that were in the ring. They had, the New York City policemen were all over the place, but it was flooded. Howard Cosell was trying to make his way in to talk to Ali, and you couldn't even see him. I mean, he was swallowed up by. I mean, the security then was not exactly like it is today, where people were just flooding inside the ring. But it was those. I never get tired of watching those fights.
Last night at Bullseye, it wasn't a knockout like Foreman Ali, but the Wolves lose to it seemed to be becoming a bit of a nemesis to the Wolves. They beat Denver last year, the defending NBA world champions, in the semifinals to get to the conference finals. And I don't think I was the only one. I was pretty convinced they were going to be able to beat Dallas. Once they got past Denver.
A lot of people were.
Yeah, I think maybe, and I'm sure the Wolves thought the same thing. And they were beat handily, 4-1. And last night, it was more of the same. It was Kyrie and Doncic were just very, very good. That combination of Lively and Gafford again that's a really good basketball team. And then Clay played, but did I see play 30 minutes but only scored like 7 points?
2 out of 7 or something. I think he wasn't a factor.
So Clay's not really even gotten into the swing of things. Whether he will or not, I don't know. But again, we had our troubles. And I know it's early. We have new adjustments, new players and all that. But again, it's just, it was a little bothersome to see that it's sort of almost carbon copy of what they did to us last.
Exactly right. It felt very much like that. I mean, Ant gets out to a 24-point first quarter, just could not miss. He got nicked up a little bit. Somebody stepped on his ankle. He wasn't enough to have him leave the game, but I think it was bothering him for a little bit as the game wore on. But Doncic also went out with a knee problem. But it did smack of the replay for a lot of reasons. You just mentioned the two big ones. Kyrie got hot, and he still has it. I mean, he's cold-blooded as it gets in this league. And then Doncic was doing his thing and hit a three-pointer, much the way he hit one over Rudy Gobert last year in the playoffs, which was the death knell for that game. And he did it last night, except it was further out, and then he turned and started again, smack talking the fans, and then having fun with it. That's you can do that when you make shots like that. But the Wolves were their own worst enemy again. 20 turnovers, I think it was, and that's when you play a team like Dallas, you cannot turn the ball over 20 times. And I'm sure that Chris Finch has got a lot of stuff to work on. And I didn't expect him to get off to a great start this year. They're still trying to figure out Julius Randle and DiVincenzo, and he didn't look like he was in the flow of the game much last night. That's got to get fixed, because you're expecting points and significant points off the bench, because the bench has not expanded much. I mean, I know people are already talking like, why don't we see the kid? Why don't we see Dillingham? Why aren't we seeing?
Yeah, why aren't we?
Well, I don't think he's ready, number one.
No?
But no.
Well, how's he going to get ready until he plays?
Well, I think he'll have plenty of opportunities. Again, we're only 4 games into this thing, and
I don't think the coach likes using.
No, I don't know. I think there's a lot more. I don't have to get me going on Luka Garza. I think he's gotten better and better, and I wouldn't mind seeing him step in for Gobert a little bit, just to push people around a little bit, and he can hit a 3-pointers. He can do a lot of things, but he's not getting on the court either. So, it's plenty of things to work on. But I think the turnover thing is the one that that bugged me the most watching the game. You just these empty possessions when they go down the court and they're turning the ball over against a team like Dallas.
Transition defense wasn't not good again.
No,
either.
It was not. No. And so again, it's. I'm saying it's a work in progress. I don't think it's anything to be overly concerned about. But as the new players get used to the system, I mean, Dallas is pretty well set from a year ago. Pretty much the same cast of characters, other than obviously the addition of Klay Thompson. But good lesson for the Wolves last night. Hard lesson last night.
Yeah. Let's take a break, come back. More to get to. Vikings make a blockbuster trade. It appears to me they're pushing all the chips into the center of the table. That and other topics as well. When we return right now, though, we have a keyword, Tanner.
Yeah, the fan and 2-minute a junk truck want to give you a shot to put $1,000 in your hand with our national cash contest. Just enter the keyword credit at KFAN.com now for your shot at winning. That keyword is credit. Enter now at KFAN.com. Mark Rosen's appearance on the program is brought to you by Greater Twin City Honda Dealers.
1314 past Common Man program. New segment we're starting now. Things so-and-so would never say. And today it's things Rosen would never say.
Oh, boy. Larry Mondello guy's at it again.
I really enjoyed the Minnesota State Fair. Come for the food and stay for the people. Yes, I'll put all of the condiments on the hot dog I'm about to eat at the point of purchase instead of returning to add more after every bite.
It's amazing.
The worst thing about being in media for so long is that people recognize me everywhere I go. I just want some privacy. I'm an environmentalist. Taking well over a dozen domestic and international flights in a calendar year carries with it a carbon footprint so enormous that my conscience wouldn't allow it.
I always love that one.
You're off. You're off to London, Toronto, Los Angeles.
No.
Now you're going to Turks and Caicos.
Well,
Just think of what you're doing to the environment, Mark Rosen.
I'm not flying the plane.
Instead of a selfie, maybe I'll take a picture of the scenery and assume people won't question whether I was really there.
I'm pretty much done with that.
You are?
Well, I just post on Instagram now. I don't really.
There you go. Things you'll never hear.
Yeah, that's good
Rosen
stuff. Way to go, Larry Mondello.
That's actually Maury Amsterdam.
Maury Amsterdam guy?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
He's back at it.
He's back at
and
it.
He just rifled off those 10. There was 10.
He's good.
Yeah,
he's
really
very
good at what
talented. Remember, he helped me with your stand-up.
Yankees stave off elimination last night. The Volpe kid, really cool story. I didn't realize it until I read it. He's from New York, grew up a Yankees fan. The whole family's had generations of Yankees fans. He was 8 years old when he last won a world title. Freddie Freeman hits another first inning home run. He may as well just, you know what they should just do? Just point at him and say, here, it's home run. Just don't even batter. Don't exert the energy. It's 2-0. I think it's a sweep at that point.
Well,
the Secretary of Nightlife, Rock who played for John Anderson's Golden Gophers. He and Steinbach were on the same team.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Yeah, Rock was a center fielder.
Yeah.
He drove in the winning run in Big Ten championship his senior year. But we both thought, well, get out the brooms. It's over. It's 2-0.
Right.
But then Volpe hits the grand slam. They get a couple more home runs. They force another game. But really, the story is more fan interference. This one was pretty egregious too. I think we're both. There were two guys trying to wrestle the ball out of
Mookie
Betts' glove. I don't even know if they did. They ruled it correctly. It's caught. Right. It's an out.
Right.
And I think both guys, or at least one, was tossed from the stadium.
They're both banned from tonight's game, although it's not a permanent thing. Their celebrity is growing by leaps and bounds.
I bet it is.
It's a clown show. It really is. It's an absolute clown show. I thought, well, not only can be banned from the game tonight, but they shouldn't be allowed back in Yankee Stadium. I mean, but they will.
Because to me, I mean, I can understand the people think that's really crazy. They're trying to get, but just like. I just don't think that's. No. I don't get a big kick out of that. It's like, you're not part of the game. Just stay there.
No.
If the ball comes to you, grab it, but you can't be trying to wrestle the ball out of somebody's hands.
It's the Steve Bartman thing. If the ball is up in the air and it's in the first or second row, and Betts is trying to reach over to catch it, and you are within your rights to catch that foul ball, then you can. You don't have. You just can't reach over and do it. And certainly after he catches it, you're trying to steal the ball away from him. That's so New York. It really is. The Betts credit, he just whatever. I mean, and so those guys will not be at the ballpark tonight. I guess they're going to be reimbursed for their tickets. So
well, they are. Yeah. Good for them.
And I think the Yankees have more than a legitimate reasons to win tonight.
You do?
Oh, yeah. I think they will win tonight. I think because of Garrett Cole. I mean, they have their ace going tonight.
Well, he's 2-4 in elimination.
I know, but he pitched awfully well, and I think Derek Jeter made a really good point. I think Aaron Boone took him out too early. The game one and
1 run over 6+ innings.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that stat when a team was down 3-0. I don't think there's ever been a team that's come back to make it 3-2 in a World Series.
No, the only ever comeback from 3-0 was an AL Championship Series, and the Red Sox did it. The Yankees. 21 of the previous 24 teams, 21 of the previous 24 to take a 3-0 series lead went on to sweeps. All but the 1910 Philadelphia Athletics against the Cubs. You were a Cubs guy. I was an Athletics guy. I was really pulling for the Athletics back in 2010. Chicago against the Cubs, and the 37 Yankees against the New York Giants, and the 1970 Baltimore Orioles against the Cincinnati Reds.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
They all went on to win in 5, though.
Yeah.
So those did, and so there's never been a sweep in the World Series, or a team come back from a 3-0 deficit.
No.
And obviously I guess they still could here because it's not over yet.
Well, no, I mean, I still think, obviously the Dodgers are heavily favored to win the thing because they go back, even if they lose tonight, they got next 2 are in.
Well, it's the same matchup as the first game. Cole against Flaherty. Flaherty was pretty good too. I think he went 5 innings. He gave up 2 runs.
Right.
And that was the home run to Giancarlo Stanton, but that's it. So it's a good pitching match. I think both teams feel good who they got on the mound. And you're right. I mean, you would just, I guess, by resume, you would go with Garrett Cole. But in elimination games, he is 2-4. So
yeah, I mean, that's remember Clayton Kershaw was always so dominant in the regular season, and now he's not healthy, but he. I guess I like the Yankees' chances. Maybe I'm hopeful that I'd like to see it go back to L.A. and make a series out of it, but I'm not ready to let go of baseball just yet. It's been fun to watch.
Some people say that they are allowed back in tonight.
No,
I didn't. I thought they heard that, but this one's ESPN article said they were told by Yankee security that they are allowed back in tonight.
I've been reading all the wrong accounts.
Someone else said they're banned from tonight's game. They're season
banned
ticket.
From Game 5. I was just reading, literally.
No, it says they aren't banned from tonight's game. They are season ticket holders who are allowed in again tonight. Are they?
It says 2 New York Yankee fans have been banned from attending Game 5 of the World Series after interfering with Mookie Betts. The Yankees announced in a statement on Wednesday that the fans will not be permitted to attend tonight's game in any capacity.
That's what I thought.
Egregious and unacceptable, blah, blah, blah. And they were not immediately clear whether the ban against Austin Capobianco, a season ticket holder, and John Peter would apply to any Yankee games next season. They're not going to compromise that. So the Yankees who refunded him the cost of the ticket for Game 5 also informed him he would be arrested if he tried to attend the game. So and even the guy,
it's controversial. He
said, "We don't want to lose the season tickets. We're hoping for a short-term ban." The guy admits he's not going to be there tonight. So I don't know what these people are talking about. This has been updated from the last. This was this afternoon at noon or 1 o'clock. Yeah. So I thought
I heard the same thing you did. I was surprised to see those, but
it was something.
Now someone just says, they changed it. They're banned now. This morning article said they were allowed back. See, someone wants to always try to trip up Mark Rosen.
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen. Not the legendary Mark Rosen.
Well, once in a while it will.
So let's do this. Let's take a final break, and then I teased talking about the Vikings, and we didn't. But let's talk Vikings. They make a significant trade with Darisaw out for the season. The left tackle position is awfully important. They went out and traded for Cam Robinson, who played for with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Right.
So we'll take a short break. There we go. He's working with Kara. They're working on
teaching her how to run the board.
Exactly.
She's going to take my job someday.
Yep.
Someday.
Soon.
Do you think she could after this segment? On the side of the breaks.
Depends on how well I've taught her.
All right, very good.
She's a quick learner.
Yes, she is. We'll take a break. Come back with more Common Man program on the Fan.
From the 651 Carpets Plus, home of the Next Day Install Studios, this is the Common Man on FM 100.3 KFAN, The Fan.
Metallica. Couple 13-14 pass. Common Man and Mark Rosen are inside the 651 Carpets Plus studio. Tennaby and Kara are in master control. One more segment to go. Big ticket JGR next. Soon to be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings will host a flexed game Sunday night at US Bank Stadium. They'll take on the Indianapolis Colts. My guess is they will have the newly acquired Cam Robinson, a left tackle. The coach was rather coy about it, but I think he'll be there. They trade some, lower round 6. They could do this or that, whatever. Just your thoughts. I mean, it's obvious the chips are all in because if you're not really saying, hey, this, we're in a good spot here, you kind of just wait till next year for Darisaw. But left tackle is so important. I think it would have been difficult to go forward without somebody other than what you already had on the roster replacing him.
And shuffling the deck. Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised. I mean, listening to Kevin Seifert, I mentioned earlier today with Barrero yesterday, and Kevin's, an insider like no other. And he said, I don't expect them to be able to go out and get a quality offensive tackle, left tackle, in the trade market. They don't have a lot to give up, and there's not a lot available. But if you look at Cam Robinson's resume, and he was named the Jaguars starting left tackle as a rookie 2017. He started 15 games. He's had a couple knee problems as well, but Alabama star, and he's a big dude, 6'6", 340. And I think listening to KOC today earlier when you guys had the news conference on, offensive tackles, it's a matter of getting the lingo down. And it's not going to take that long. I mean, it's not like he's learning how to be quarterback. He's not learning how to be, maybe even a defensive player. It's he knows what his job is, and it's just a matter of getting down some of the calls that Garrett Bradbury will be making on the offensive line. But I'd be shocked if he doesn't start on Sunday night. I think they want to go with him. He's in town. I think Kevin mentioned that he was basically getting here any minute, got to pass the physical, and then get out and practice. And I think he's got all day tomorrow, all day Friday, all day Saturday. I think he'll be ready to go Sunday night. And it's a kudos to them at least going out and getting someone who's not just a body. I think that he's more than that. And short-term situation, in all likelihood, hopefully Darrisaw will be back. You never know how long, especially a big guy coming back from a major knee surgery. And, he doesn't have to, sprint down the field like, a wide receiver does, or a running back, or a quarterback. But nevertheless, it's still something that you want to hang on to. So, yeah, it's a good move for them. And anxious to see. He mentioned Blake Cashman, and he was working on the side today, the full go, but on the side, and hopefully by tomorrow he'll be active with the team. And we all know T.J. Hawkinson's coming back, which I think is going to be. You can't underestimate the importance of T.J. Hawkinson. We see some of the tight ends in this league, and look at your Lions team and a whole bunch of other quality teams that have one of those guys. Well, the Vikings have one of those guys in T.J., and they've missed him. And what he can do, trying to quicken the game, as KOC's talked about, quicker drops, quicker opportunities to hit Hawkinson on those slant patterns and get him, in the flow of this offense. So it's going to be great to see him back out there on Sunday night.
The coach was talking about Darnold. A question came up, one of the last ones he answered. And, I'm not going to say he was ripping Darnold, but it was just, by the way, and I wish I could tell you exactly how he said, I don't know if you heard it, but it was like, well, yeah, there's some things we need him to do and that. In other words, he was so good in those first 4 weeks. He won NFC Offensive Player of the Month.
Right.
Seemed like it could almost do no wrong. And now in these two losses, and even in the second half against Green Bay, in the second half, what was the other game where against the Jets where things didn't go particularly well? I think there's been some things where Darnold hasn't been awful by any stretch of the imagination, but it just hasn't really been as good as he was in the first month. So, I wonder if, and I can't, the coach talking about him, we have to work on some things and do this, but I think it does. I mean, I know I've gotten, a couple of text messages and emails from people discussing it that basically saying, look, it really isn't this defense. Our offense isn't helping out our defense at all. And then there are other people who are saying, well, the defense hasn't played as well and that they're not helping out the offense. So it kind of goes hand in hand. But I do think Darnold, he was really good that first month, but since then he's had his moments, but there's also been times where it hasn't been as good.
Well, I think one of the reasons why he's talking about not necessarily getting to the huddle with a no huddle, but I think speeding up in terms of the process of getting rid of the ball quicker, I think that'll help Sam Darnold out. Because I think there have been times when he's just been hanging on the ball too long, hasn't seen an open receiver. We've seen a couple examples of that, glaring ones. And I think that might be what he's referring to. So if they can put themselves in a situation like we've seen, I mean, I'm not comparing them to Goff and Stafford, but Stafford was so good. Jonathan Grenard was talking about it with us yesterday. I mean, he said, well, what's happened to the pass rush? Well, Stafford, for the most part, 1,001, 1,002, the ball's out of his hands. I mean, it's gone. And I think that's what they're trying to do now with Darnold. And we'll see how that approach works to try to just quicken up the game a little bit, quicken up the game for him a little bit to spot. And it doesn't mean he can't, unload and throw a deep ball to JJ. It's just a matter of maybe putting him in a better rhythm is a better way of saying it. But having said that, I still think that Aaron Jones particularly could have the biggest impact on this game because I think the Colts are pretty vulnerable against the run.
Your guy, Kirill, had a big night. Tennessee thinks, he asked me the question, do we have the best player in the National Hockey League in Minnesota? Do you think Kirill's the best in the league?
I mean, Connor McDavid got hurt. No, I don't think he's the best. But
Connor McDavid.
Yeah, I know. He has an opportunity, and knock on wood, keeping Kirill healthy. I have to whisper when you say that. But I think he's playing at a really high level last night. That was a fun game. I was flipping around like crazy last night between the Wolves, the World Series, and the Wild, the Flurry in that against his old team, of course, and what a sentimental return in last game against the Penguins it was. And Ted is the hockey guy, but it looks like the Wild, their passing has just been, I mean, the power play, everything has been so much sharper than what we've seen in recent years. And getting Kirill going is something to behold. We know this guy's got all the talent in the world, and he's so strong on his skates. But what he can do to set up his teammates is really fun to watch. So they beat Pittsburgh last night. Fleury got the win. Really emotional victory in Pittsburgh. The fans stuck around, gave him a standing ovation. I thought whoever, all due respect to, it's not even Bally Sports anymore, but the game ended, and you know that Fleury was going to take a bow, and they cut to a commercial. I mean, wait a minute. I want to see him. You've
got to be kidding me!
I want to see him shaking hands with Crosby and everybody, and they cut away from it. Right. Anyway, we saw.
Got to pay the bills, Mark.
Got to pay the bills.
You can hold off. You can hold off for 20 seconds and pay the bills. You have to anticipate what's about to happen. Yes. Is what I'm saying. It's anticipation.
Tennessee.
If you're sitting in the director's chair, you know what's going to happen.
Leave it to the broadcast professionals.
I got this. Don't tell me that people were not expecting to see that, and then all of a sudden they went to whatever commercial. That's fine. Anyway, more importantly, Wild finished this wildly successful road trip, and now they're back home, and a very gaudy start to their season. It's terrific.
Randy Johnson writes college football for Fish Wrap Factory Westside, covers the Gophers like a blanket.
They call him the big unit.
They call him the big unit. That's exactly what they call him.
Yeah.
The big unit.
Well, Randy Johnson.
How I forgot that, I don't know. But Randy Big Unit Johnson, Fish Wrap Factory, very good tenor. Wrote a piece today. Gophers freshman Coy Parrish becomes three-way threat. Defense, special teams, and offense, too. We played one play on offense. Coach P.J. Fleck said on his show on Tuesday, he can handle it. He loves it. Kids taking college football by storm. He was I think he was once the defensive player of the week. He was special teams player of the week. He's a really good player. Is this his only year here? Does Texas offer him $1.5 million and he leaves? Well, I'm being serious, though.
I know. I think, what I read the other day, I think his agent, Blake Barrett's is his agent, and I think he was just about to sign a deal. I don't think it's not the name of the company, but it's the candy. Gushers? Is that what it's called?
Oh, right.
So he was, I don't think he's going anywhere. Okay. I think they're going to make it very profitable for the young man. And it is. I mean, it's something PJ talked about the other day. It's not like, even nothing against small town football, but you play at Eden Prairie or Apple Valley or, Minnetonka, blah, blah, blah. You're going from ESCO to this level of college football and playing at this level. He talks about it being, Minnesota's like safety U. I mean, they've had a lot of players have gone on to play in the NFL, and he looks like he is the real deal. I mean, he can return punts, he can return kicks, he can pretty much do anything. He did it all when he was in high school, and he's got those instincts. So no, I hope they figure out a way, and I think they're working on it now with the nil money to make sure he's not going anywhere. He was pretty committed to coming here. I mean, I think had he wavered before he came to Minnesota at that last minute and decided to go somewhere else, that would have been the time to go, look, I just got offered the world. And now I think Minnesota's going to make sure he's not going anywhere.
He's got a lot of talent.
He's a lot of fun to watch. We've had some look at the terrific safeties here and cornerbacks at Minnesota, but he maybe end up being the best of them. He's fun to watch. And they got to beat Illinois. They're slight favorites at Illinois on Saturday. That's another key game. They're like 3-point favorites on the road. They can't beat Bielema. That's been a thorn on their side, and it's one of those games that again, you look at the schedule with Penn State coming up. That's They're not obviously going to be, that'd be a huge upset. This is one they got to kind of knock out in the winning column. So, yeah.
This text message says, from Chad in St. Paul, regular listener and text messenger. He says, baby brother Peter's Buckeyes head coach, Ryan Day, flew into Duluth, drove to Esco to offer Coy a big pile of money, and he turned it down. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but I wouldn't doubt it.
No, I wouldn't either. I mean, his reputation was secure. I mean, before that. So if Ryan Day's knocking on your door, offering you a pile of money.
From the Ohio State
Think
University.
about that.
I know Tennant really loves power rankings. He
loves them.
Yeah, he's always said power rankings are more important than the standings. No, wait, he never said that.
No.
NHL, this is the first power rankings I've seen from the NHL this year. I'm sure they've been out there before, but where do you think, now, when the Wild season started,
right?
Okay, knowing what we know about the club and
sure,
the money we don't have to spend and the Suter Prison thing, where did the two of you, do you remember where the Wild, where would you have ranked them?
I would have guessed in the
20th,
15 to 23-ish range, somewhere in there.
Where do you think they are right now today as we speak?
I'm guessing Winnipeg is number 1.
That is
So
correct.
I'm not ready to put them at number 1, but they've got to be
third or fourth,
top 5.
They're just outside the top 5. They're at number 6. The Jets at 1.
You've got to be kidding me.
The Stars, that's still our team. I still consider that a Minnesota team. So the Minnesota Stars.
Both those teams in our division as well. It's like the NFC North.
It's exactly right. Rangers check in at 3, Lightning at 4, Golden Knights at 5, and then your Minnesota Wild at number 6.
How did the Lightning do against the Wild?
Yeah,
I don't understand why they're and they have 3 losses compared to we only have 1.
reputation.
Yeah.
Well, we have 2 in overtime / shootout, but
right.
Generally speaking, regulation losses, yes.
But it does say 6-1.
Head-to-head, we beat the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Right. You got to explain this to me. You always mention that regulation losses, but if your record's 6-1-2, they only have 1 loss.
They have 6 wins.
Right.
They have 1 loss in regulation, and they have 2 losses that were either in shootout or in overtime. You get a point just by getting to overtime.
Yeah.
So their second and third games of the year, they lost in a shootout to Seattle. They lost the third game. They lost in overtime to Winnipeg. Those are technically losses. They didn't win those
then
games.
why is it 6-1-2?
Because they get a point for them.
Well, that's still, but
it's silly.
Well, the points are different. It should be. It's still. Well, this is all deceiving. The Wild shouldn't even be in the top 6, and they should be not even out. They should be outside the top 10. That makes no sense to me. I know we've debated for years about points given instead of wins, but to me, it's like, well, if you lost the game, whether it was in regulation or overtime or shootout, it's a loss, and it should go in the loss column because it's a loss. There's nowhere we sort of lost. I don't think
it's an interesting system they have to get rewarded for. Really, for losing the game.
For me, it's not even. You can give them those points or whatever, but to me, that number is deceiving. Yeah, just the number of 6-1-2 is deceiving.
A lot of times,
it's not
teams
right.
end up playing just to get to overtime.
Calling for the embolishment.
Yeah,
is what.
My favorite is people in the hockey community, especially like the homer types.
Right.
Like your team could be 3-3-3, and they'll go, "Oh, they're a 500 team." I'm like, well, no, they've won 3 games. They've lost 6. They're not a 500 team.
Right.
I get it from a points percentage standpoint. They're 500, but that doesn't mean the same as being a 500 team. You're just trying to trick the audience into believing you're competitive.
Yeah.
It never feels like if you lose in overtime or a shootout, it doesn't ever feel like you've earned much. It just feels like, it's an empty feeling. But
like Utah Hockey Club is 4-4-2 right now. So if you look at that and go, well, they're a 500 team. Well, no, they're not.
They're not.
They've won 4 and they've lost 6.
That's exactly right.
Right.
But it should say 4-6, but it doesn't.
No.
See, that's why I'm confused. That's why they fool me. It's a shell game. Here's another one of the power rankings thing. This is one of my favorites. They actually do NFL quarterback power rankings. Do they do like center rankings and free safety rankings?
Not by not power ranking. They have the
Here's what they have.
Number associated with
Here's what they have. Where do you think Pat Mahomes is in the power rankings for quarterback?
Not as high.
He hasn't had a great season, even though they're undefeated.
Where do you think he is?
5th.
Tennessee?
I just probably higher.
I have no idea.
10th.
What?
10th?
If you're going off of just his individual performance, I can see it.
Lamar Jackson's number 1.
Lamar's been great.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen's number 2.
Josh, and then Goff.
Jared Goff, he's not been off.
No.
He's at 3. Jaden Daniels at number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Burrow at 5. Brock Purdy at 6. Baker Mayfield at 7. Herbert at 8. Jalen Hurts at 9. And then Pat Mahomes at
What about
10.
Kirk Cousins?
Where's Cousins?
Darnold's at 11.
Where's Sam Darnold?
Sammy Darnold's at 11.
Where's Kirko?
Says Minnesota's dropped 2 straight, mostly because Brian Flores' defense is struggling to stop the big play through the air.
They are.
Can Darnold keep his composure with his left tackle now out for the year? We got to replace.
We got to take care of.
We got that taken care of. Kirk Cousins is at number 12.
He's been playing well lately, that's for sure. So I think he goes up. Did they play Zimmer this week in Dallas, Atlanta? Is he going up against his old buddy?
Is he? I don't recall.
I got to look at the schedule.
So according to these power rankings, if you wanted to ask a question, who would you rather start a game for you, Sam Darnold or Pat Mahomes? It's basically a coin toss.
It's a coin flip.
It's just a coin flip.
It's a coin flip is what it is. And as a matter of fact, you would say, I'd rather have Baker Mayfield because he's ranked at number 7. So you say, who do you want starting this week, Mayfield or Mahomes? You know, Mayfield's been playing, but I'll take him.
By the way, I've set up my own program power rankings.
Oh, you have?
Kara's at number 1.
Is she? Okay.
Brian Oak, Rock Talk, number 2. Common at 3.
Thank you.
Lil B at 4. I'm at 5. Rosen's at 6.
Rosen, you're at 6.
That's disappointing.
According to my program power rankings.
That is not something that's acceptable. Who was I just talking about?
You were looking for who's going to play who? No.
Oh, Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta.
Yeah, Dallas plays at Atlanta Sunday. So it's Mike Zimmer going matching wits against Kirko.
The guy who...
That'll be fun.
Remember when he wanted
each other on the sidelines?
Remember when he wanted to
fight him?
Punch Cousins?
Oh, yeah.
Cousins gave him the old shove.
Zimmer being Zimmer.
That was Zimmer being Zimmer.
Yeah, we got Atlanta coming to town here later on in December.
I don't know if I'd call that I don't think Kirk Cousins is a revenge.
I don't. No,
though he does, you know, he's got some fire to him because of the "you like that" thing and right there showed you that you know he was. You like that, you know? So
I don't think they're going to do like the pregame handshake where you go up and, hey, how you doing? How are the kids?
So.
No, Zimmer. Oh no, no.
I don't think so.
No.
What about when he gets
They're breaking
here?
up, Bob.
Is that game Atlanta, Minnesota here?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Do you think, we always ask this question when somebody that was, you know, an important piece of your organization, your team for years, what kind of reaction will the fans give them? Do you think
they'll give them the video tribute?
Yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying, what do you think the fans? Do you think they'll applaud? You think they will?
I think they'll cheer him at the beginning, and then they'll go crazy the first time that Dallas Turner sacks, tongue in cheek, Dallas Turner sacks him, or Grenard or Van Ginkel picks him off.
Yes, if Dallas Turner's still on the team, does he play at all? How many snaps has he taken?
Not many. We keep hearing that.
Is it another bust?
No, I don't think so.
Is it another bust draft pick?
No, I don't. Well, I mean, I'm not. You can't make that judgment right now. Number one, I think he's got to get stronger. But I think they. What
do you mean stronger?
Well, I mean, physically just stronger.
Is he weak?
Well, he's
Is
young.
that what you're hearing?
Yeah, I think KOC talked about that.
That was a knock on him coming out of out of college. He's a little undersized.
A little undersized, but he's got
quick. Twitchy though.
Yeah, he is twitchy. He'll get a chance. No, it's people get so impatient.
Maybe he needs to tweet free 15.
Exactly.
He should post on Instagram free 15.
All I know is everybody said he was probably the best defensive player in the draft. How was the best defensive player in the draft not playing at all? I'm just asking.
I think he should be getting more time, especially on third down situations. But I'm not sitting in that room. I don't know.
Remember, speaking of Zim, remember what he said about who was the quarterback Kellen Mond? I see him in practice every day.
I've seen enough.
Maybe they seek Dallas Turner in practice every day and realize he's not as good as we thought he was. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know.
Throw it out there. Everybody's impatient.
We really gave up the farm for him. So.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, I'm impatient. I'm a little bit nervous about it.
All right, that's fine. You should be.
I don't know how this team's 5-2 with the draft picks we've made over the last 3 years.
Well,
other than Reichard, that was a hit.
Well,
we got that one.
I told you he's going to be the best kicker in the history of the Vikings.
You did.
Well, he should have gone further. History of the league.
No, I didn't say that.
No,
I'm saying you should have.
You should have gone further.
Yeah.
Why didn't you?
I can't remember what I was just going to say now. It doesn't matter.
How many kicks has he made?
Quasi's draft picks is what we're talking about.
How many kicks, extra points and field goals, has he made now? He's made every one. I know that.
Yeah.
Do you know what that number is?
I don't know the number.
Longest has
15,
been what,
20? Because we've scored tutties.
Yeah.
We've got field goals.
They said he was, they potentially would have tried.
How did you know this? Did you just from watching him at training
people
camp?
I talked to.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe just you noticed because you got an eye for the kicking game, I think.
No, I just, there's a couple people I talked to out there.
Okay.
That
People you trust.
He's a real deal. Yeah.
All right, very good.
Well, let's find out. I mean, a lot of people are going, God, I hope he did. I want him to miss a kick before the final game.
Yeah, I've heard that too, and there's something about me. There's something about me that might want to see that as well.
That's a Minnesota way of looking at things.
If he does miss a game winner in the playoffs, then you're going to be to blame.
That's my fault.
You're dismissing it. We'll see you tomorrow at 2:00.
Express Ring
at 2:30. Tenby, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. We're back tomorrow at 12 noon. Big Ticket, JG. They're next, right here on the Fan.
And good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.